Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Eclectic mix of Joes and Pros today on a custom 4v4. Another day, another new map here at Guilecast. Very exciting stuff. And the best news is I've got no news, so we can go straight to the action. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Cha-ching. Ka-ching, and you can tell just by looking at it, that first glimpse, it's going to be beautiful. Although, I got to say, an awful lot of glare. It's a pretty, I think it's a brand new map, but damn, it's like the surface, I was about to say Venus just because it looks hot, but no, that wouldn't be right because of the clouds cover, but the surface of Mercury, the bit that faces the sun, at any rate, it looks baking on that beach. So hopefully not too much action will take place on that specific island, but otherwise, looks rather a pleasant place to be, at least for the time being, before the giant mechanical monsters start waging war. Let's take a look at our players. We'll call this Team 1 across the top, and this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1 over here at the far left. Going Cybrin, it's Ryan 103. He's opening first land. Team member number 2 for Team 1 over here in Mellow Yellow. Our first UEF of the day, it's Figsnim, and he is opening first land. Team member number 3 over here, the other member on this central landmass for Team 1. This time going Aeon in Burgundy Red, it's Mantis Lord. He's opening first land. And last but not least, for Team 1 over here at the top right, I'd say naval position, because let's face it, what else are you going to do on these little fractured islands? Going Electric Blue, going Cybrin, bless him, opening first land. It's Malfeasance, and that pretty much, what I just said, first land. You know what? You say a certain number of things a certain number of times in a certain number of ways, you basically come out with a certain amount of BS. That's not, of course, first land. That's first Navy. Not used to seeing that, but makes total sense when you think about it. And there we have it. So that is Team 1. 2 Cybrins, a UEF, and an Aeon there for them. Let's take a look at Team 2. Starting over here on the left once again, it's Ryudino. This time it's Aeon in Fecal Brown, opening first air, going second land. Team member number 2 over here in that horrible Aeon green, it's Chunky, also going Aeon, opening first land, going second air, it would seem. Team member number 3 for Team 1 over here in Ferrari Red, Leonardo 36, our first Cybrin for Team 2, going land all day, it would seem. 5 of those on the way, and last but not least, also going first Navy for the naval position, and our first Seraphim of the day, it's Sinister. And just to make sure we all pay extra special attention to him, he's put little dashes in between all of the letters. How cute. Anyway, he's going Recall Purple, as we said, opening first Navy. So, have we got one of everything? No, we haven't. We've got 2 Aeons, a Cybrin, and a Seraphim there for Team 2. All races represented, at least on a global scale. And the first shots are fired, and that's from Leonardo, who's managed to sneak in a couple of Mantis into the back there of Mantis Lord's base. Might pick up the engineer at the back, trying to finish off a mechs, going about his business. Yes, they do. The ACU does turn up and blap those 2 Mantis, but the damage is done, albeit one single engineer is lost, and then the ACU finishing off the mechs. So not terribly important as far as things go. I just slow this down a sec, because we haven't had a chance to talk about ratings and the map. So, highest rated player in the game, Ryudino down here in the bottom left. He's our 1700. We have got a 1500 and a 1600 on Team 1 there, Malfeasance and Ryan. Everybody else, though, in firm Joe territory. Couple of 1300s there on Team 1, and then a 1200, 1300, and a 1100 there for Team 2. So, a much more even distribution of higher global rating there for Team 1. And actually, you can see game quality not particularly great, 83%, so not what we would consider a balanced game. But I gotta say, I like the cut of the jib of the map creator, so I definitely thought it was worth a shufty just to once again showcase the wonderful work that our players and designers are doing here at FAF. New maps coming out almost every day, it would seem. Transports away meanwhile there for Chunky Chariot, busily dropping off engineers on those little separate islands down at the bottom of the map there. So yeah, you've got this central landmass, a lot of mass to get your hands on, a massive civilian base in the center with the odd T1 emplacement scattered around here or there, but nothing too vicious. Well, especially you have got a couple of Cerberus turrets under shield coverage in the middle. That could be a little bit of a nuisance, so expect them not to go careering into that too quickly. And then the rest of the map, with the exception of these pretty prominent and heavily tiered islands, you can see that cliff edge there separating it from the water by quite a large amount. You've got those two land masses there and there, but otherwise very dominant water position out here in the right. One would feel whoever wins that battle on the right of the map could prove crucial later on. Mantis Lord advancing south with his commander now. How is he looking up against Leonardo? Leonardo's on 25, Mantis Lord on 23. Pretty similar outlooks there. Interesting stuff. Sensor upgrade going down on Chunky's comm there. That's not something you see every day for the first upgrade right off the bat, and then going for the ranged gun upgrade. Wants to utilize all of the ACU's advanced sensor capabilities to blap stuff at range. Transports moving out now from Ryudano. Of course, Chunky already in possession of those islands out to that side. We've already got naval units building up north of the wash there for Malfeasance. Sinister rising to the challenge as well. Late game Seraphim with an advantage on the naval side of things, but early game Cybran, sorry, late game Seraphim, early game Cybran with an advantage. Interesting to see if Malfeasance can put that to good use. There seems to be this perpetual air battle brewing here at the western edge of the main landmass in the middle. Leonardo and Mantis Lord battling for supremacy of that little hillock north of the civilian base. Once again, Leonardo trying to get a run by, trying to get in around the back of Mantis Lord's base, but Mantis covering nicely with his Auroras, utilizing their range. Ever wondering how you effectively operate Aeon T1 tanks when they're such tin foil on the battlefield? That's how you do it. Utilize their range and their skirmishing capabilities. Stay out of return fire range from your opponent. Effectively shuts that down pretty comprehensively. Mantis Lord and Leonardo going toe-to-toe with their commanders, and he needs to be a little bit careful here, Mantis Lord. There's an awful lot of Leonardo's spam, but instead of going in for the kill there, trying to knock some hit points off the comm, Leonardo's going to pull that spam back and instead engage with his commander. Now, we saw the sensor upgrades kicking off before on the comm there for Chunky. Where is his ACU actually disappeared to? There it is. So bright on this map I can hardly see. He's now got the gun upgrade and sensor upgrade. Massive field of view right there. It's his turn to push out and grab some territory for Team 2. Things looking pretty solid on the main landmass right now for Team 2 as it stands. Chunky and Leonardo, despite giving up some ground on global ranking, seem to be asserting their authority on this middle island. almost in range of that main base. You can see Big Snim's ACU lurking in the middle there. It's assisting construction of a mongoose on that upgraded T2 factory. Meanwhile, over here in the Far East, the naval battle rages. Malfeasant's pulling back towards his base, but he's got more than enough reinforcements to stop that in its tracks, and actually is a slightly heavier focus on sub-production. That will stand him in good stead. And now it'll be Sinister's turn to withdraw. T2 upgrade on the way for Mantis Lord. 32% done there. Decent amount of T1 spam and a T1P need to help protect that position while he gets that upgrade going. But look out! Big Snim has to move his comm out to defend from that central section. Has got a T2 engineer working on a triad. Chunky's commander focusing that down. There it goes. Still plenty of T1 engineers to help complete that, and he's got some artillery pieces that are going to work on the factory. Only 2 engineers left. Will the triad complete? I wonder. It's not looking good. Big Stim starts work on with a comm, but he didn't evac, and he's going to be our first injection of the day, almost on the nose of 10 minutes, down and out, and Team 1 lose their first player. Hopefully full share not on. Leonardo actually saw the kill coming, redirected some T1 spam to help ram it home. Chunky's like, I don't need no help, fool. I got this down. I'm not sure exactly where Chunky's from or why he talks like that, but it's important to be inclusive and tolerant here at Guilecast. Gunship attack, meanwhile, from Ryudino, engaging some T2 Navy that's turned up. We haven't focused much on this side of the map. There's been a lot going on in the middle. Ryan upgrading one of his first naval yards to T2 and spitting out a Salem, but that Salem unprotected against the airwaves. Knocked down pretty comfortably by those Spectres there. Interceptors waiting for a kill option. This is T2 Air versus T2 Navy on that left side of the map. Meanwhile, over on the right, Malfeasance seems to be gaining ground against Sinister. Sinister is on... where are we at? Sinister's on 69. Malfeasance on 55. So he's been ecoing harder, but can he get enough production power together to keep pace with that incoming Cybran Navy? Now, Mantis Lord presented with a major problem here. He's facing pretty solid opponents now on both sides. Leonardo pushing up from the south. Chunky coming in from the west, having stamped his authority on Big Snim's old base. Sinister telling his allies he needs help. So clearly getting outpaced over here. He's gone to mass sub-production. That was a wise move. He's doing all right for the time being. What he needs is more engineers, more build capacity to assist those naval yards. The Spectres might have gotten shot down over on the left there for Rodino. Probably by that cruiser. 12 kills to its name so far. And so he's switched out now to torpedo bomber production. Those skimmers lurking over here. He wants to get a decent number of them together and then just charge that cruiser. Mantis Lord doing what he can to curtail this pressure from Leonardo. Leonardo going after those forward emplacements with a Viper mobile missile launcher. Back to the east, and that sub-heavy makeup falling foul of some T2 subs now. Barracuda just over here in time to see that go down as it happens, but Salem inbound. Sinister unhappy about something. Maybe it's the lack of inbound assistance from the mainland. Nothing that Leonardo can do really to assist. No naval yard, and in fact, no naval yard for any of them at the moment on that central landmass. A little bit of floaty, floaty, naughty, naughty going on from Ryudino. Says, I don't like your cruisers. They bother me intensely. So I would like to do something about your naval HQ. I don't know if he's going to pack enough power to do it, though, now that Salem's completed. Rolls off the conveyor belt and starts blapping auroras. Going to stroll out of range and protect that. And pick them off one at a time. Com moving in as well. Sinister calling out for assistance from his teammates. Doesn't seem like any assistance is coming, and actually a bad move, because like we said at the beginning, most of this map seems to be about at least 65% water, maybe more like 70, and there's a lot of maneuverability if you own the water waves, get in and cause problems. So they don't want Malfeasance to win out here, and he looks like it could be going that way. Sinister trapped very much in his corner. Still out ecoing Malfeasance, but hasn't got the production capacity to turn it into units. Feeling he's not going to be out ecoing for long now, though, as these Tridents get in range of some of these mass options over here. That T2 mech's somehow still alive. Loses yet another one of its mass storage before finally going down. Sinister very, very unhappy about the level of assistance he's been granted. Asserts that they're in big trouble now, pretty wisely, I'd say. Absolutely crucial to maintain a naval threat. While Mantis Lord looks like he's about to go down, at some point, being surrounded on the mainland, what good is it? At least if Ryudino looked like he was going to win out against Ryan, be able to sneak in some naval yards down here, but now he's under pressure. That T2 air play didn't work out. Main base under bombardment now. Cliff edge providing some protection. Some of the shots getting through onto that shield coverage, so he's holding it for now, but that will not last forever. Plenty of maneuverability through the strait here. Get some more vessels on this side. A couple more cruisers. Lift those shots over the top. Some awkward reflection going on there. Not handling the tiered terrain and the water that well. And indeed, Sinister, while I was nattering over there, did finally succumb, as we knew he would do, over in the bottom right. And now they are in a major, major spot of bother. Yes, they're looking like they're going to break through against Mantis Lord, but they've been so focused on that. And now going to protect their behinds from all of this naval pressure. Answer seems to be very little indeed. Leonardo looking a little bit peaky though as these Obsidians roll in on the commander. He's not too far away from a ranking vet. Down to 2,600. Fortunately for him, looks like that was a last-ditch effort. Gets in a few units around about a hoplite, a couple of mantis knocking on the front door. Meanwhile, over on this section, Chunky trying to ward off a new beachhead that's been created by Ryan 103. Factories won't last too long. That is a hell of a lot of floaty, naughty. Can we get it in up over here? We've got some ASFs circling around now, so he's gone straight to T3 air. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, so these resourcing options are going to go down soon. He has branched into naval production over here, Chunky. But is it too late? That's the question. Malfeasance well and truly up and running with his T2 naval production. All going in all the time. Leonardo about to finish off the original base and the final productive operational location for Mantis Lord, who's just got his comm left release, ditching it out in the water over to the east. Seeing if you can find somewhere else to set up shop. And meanwhile, Leonardo's main base torn asunder at long range by our favorite resident gender confused boats over here. This is the issue, of course. They can sprout legs, go walkie, naughty anytime they like, and now literally nothing is safe over this way. How much time is Chunky going to be able to get with this T2 naval yard? How many boats can he put out? Can he rescue that situation? Ryan once again emerging from the water with his commander, throwing down some factories. And Raudano on this side of things just cornered, absolutely cornered with nowhere to go. Holding on thanks to the merits of that sea cliff there, blocking most of that incoming fire. And there we have it. So Mantis Lord out, central landmass firmly in the hands of Team 2. Raudano locked into his base, and Team 1 completely, more or less, in control of the waterways of the rest of the map. We do have one threat from Team 2 lurking in that respect over here for Chunky. He's got a couple of Vespers out. There's T2 sub-hunters. He's going to need a lot more than that to effectively lead a fight back against Malfeasance, who's already starting to encroach on his base with those Salems as they stomp their way towards those Aeon shields. Things not looking good for Team 2 now. It's after all a 1,700, an 1,100 and a 1,200 versus 1,600, a 1,500 and a 1,300, and to boot the 1,700 for Team 2, locked in to his base over here with no real prospect of escape right now. Full turtle mode. $12K mass sent to Ryan from Malfeasance. What's he building, I wonder? Well, shielded power up at the back of his base. contend with this aerial threat. Of course, its only real threat is against other aerial units at the moment. A lot of ASFs piled up over here, but no way to hit back at Team 1's main threat, which is Malfeasance and Ryan's naval vessels. Looking extraordinarily bad. Team 2 actually has pulled in 30k more in mass, but they just haven't directed it where it needs to go. A couple of restorers out for Ryudino, locking on to this pack of 4 Salems there from Ryan. Need to watch out for the siren over here, though. Missiles launching. One of those taken out, the other one fleeing the area wisely. Nicely done. Chunky starts spitting out some harbingers and shoos away those destroyers pretty comfortably. Mantis Lord still alive with his comm, throws down a radar on the beach and continues to maneuver around the back. Heading over here, by the looks of things, to grab some of these mexes at the bottom of the map. Needs to be a little bit careful. I don't know if anybody on Team 1's aware of these 5 sub-hunters. Chunky presumably not wanting to play his hand too early with those. Now we've got a lot more restorers out for Ryudino, still trying to make that aerial advantage work in his favor. Looks like the siren, so that one over there. So there's no one, still 9 kills to its name. So many hit points, takes so long even for those T3 gunships to chew their way through them. Once again, Ryudino buys himself a reprieve. Well burrowed in here on this plateau up the top. T2 transport, I wonder if he's expecting to drop his comm somewhere interesting in the near future. Malfeasance out over here with another group of 4 destroyers, helping to assert Ryan's position on his new beachhead over here. It's not full commitment to this invasion. It's difficult with these gunships hovering around the place and low on aerial firepower, but goodness me, if he hasn't lost a whole buttload of ASS, what a terrible place to park. And not only that, Ryan's just hoovering up the mass. Says thank you very much indeed. See that gap on mass, total mass accrued, narrowing now between the 2 teams. Alumnar airlifting T3 engineers over this side of the map. Not sure exactly to where at this point. Mantis Lord gets himself up a stealth field generator to protect his new resourcing option on that little island there. I feel like they could do something with these Vespers at this point, surely. Hello, Monkey Lord under construction over here. That will spell absolute disaster for Team 2 if this game hasn't already done so. Ryudino completely surrounded by Ryan's navy. And we've got a few cruisers in there now, like 4 or 5 of them, where they can shoot over the top of the cliff edge and land on the shields, which they're doing. And not only that, those Salems are starting to make their way up that little walkway. Just need to move up a little bit further. And that looks like the end for Ryudino. Some ASFs for Malfeasance lurking down here. He's transitioned comfortably to T3 Air. Stealth upgrade on the way for Leonardo. Huzzah under construction. Interesting and ambitious. But they've missed the window to make the most use of that, I think. Now, not the only T3 players in the world. Shields collapsing over at Ryudino's base. T3 quantum reactor taking some fire. Engineers hurriedly trying to erect more shield gens, keep out those Cybran weapon blasts. Combination T1, 2, and 3 attack from Leonardo and Chunky on the central landmass. Done a good bit of work keeping Ryan out over here, but let's face it, he's not thrown everything at it. He's been more concerned, I submit, predominantly with getting, or say containing Ryudino, but ultimately focusing him down. And Restorers brought in to try and tackle this problem are just ionized by the incoming fire from those cruisers. They managed to take one down. That is not cost effective in the slightest. Shields beginning to buckle. Commander taking some fire. Ryudino moves him out around the back of the power plant. Not the best place to stand in the world. I'm sure everybody's recently watched Chernobyl. Slightly different scenario. Fewer communists and more giant robots. I suppose there are plenty of Cybrans. Space communists. Mantis Lord just bulls out, walking up the ramp now with his comm. Got a T2 upgrade, overcharging these miasma static artillery pieces. Ryudino just sitting back and watching at a distance. About to see the destruction, potentially, of the game's highest rated player. His ASFs tangle with Malfeasances. Not sure what he was planning to do with that Alumnar, but never made use of it. Ryudino coming in to engage with his comm. Absorbs some strap bomb fire, doesn't manage to penetrate though. Shield gens keeping those out. T1 PD spammed up. Mantis Lord has to drop back out of range, but there he goes. Listed as Control K, but no, that'll be strap bomber related. Need to fix that notify mod. Listing far too many things as Control K when they definitely aren't. So there they go. So now all we have for Team 2 is Chunky and Leonardo 36 on this central landmass, surrounded by superior naval power. Do do something with these Vespers, please. Anything. And Monkey Lord, having completed, has traversed the channel, now emerging on the main landmass. What, if anything, can they do about it? Only just now harvesting the remnants of that civilian base right in the center. Monkey Lord encroaching on what has become the new central base there for Leonardo, set up away from the southern resourcing options that were never re-established really after Malfeasance's attack, and that is a control K by the looks of things from Chunky. Says, I don't want to live in this world anymore now that my game is clearly over. Never got to use those Vespers, look at that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of them. Never got to make use of them. It's a tragedy, really. 'Then there was one Leonardo at 1100, valiantly fighting to the bitter end. No control K for him. Not sure quite what he plans to do about this. It's an awful lot of ship hulls and legs coming his way. $12,000 hit points at full health on this 2-star Cybrid Com. He's got the gun upgrade and is that sensor upgrade, stealth upgrade, I think. Strap bomber away, might do it. Oh, clips him, takes off the lion's share of his health. Allows the Salems to finish it off at 33.5 minutes on the nose. GG's thrown out all round. Valiant effort from what was clearly a very undermatched Team 2. They did pretty well at the beginning. They scored that early kill and they basically shut down Mantis Lord in his position up here, but not assisting Sinister, allowing Malfeasance to extend, and of course taking nothing away from Ryan, who did a pretty brilliant job of winning that battle against Raudano, pacifying him, forcing him to turtle up down here. He tried to hit back with superior air tech, but was ultimately outmatched and not allowed to expand. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. There's always more to come from me in the future. Keep those replays coming in. Don't forget, if you feel so inclined, you can support me on Patreon. Details on how to do that below this and each and every one of my video. Thank you very much to everybody who's donated so far. It means the absolute world to me, and of course to any donations that are forthcoming in the future. Every donation helps support me, the channel, and by extension the community. So thank you once again for all of those. Until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.